Hello, 5 Great Decision class. Thank you for being here and welcome to week 2. I'm genuinely excited about introducing you to the 5 Great Decision practice, so much so that I've decided to devote, really as a 1-year project, my attention and focus on the development of 5 Great Decisions. I truly believe that this concept can transform lives. It's an idea worth sharing. And as marketing strategist Seth Godin says, if it's remarkable, it's worth making a remark about. And I'm convinced 5 Great Decision is worth remarking about, and I hope that you will too. When I posted our video on the YouTube channel, what I didn't realize is that anyone who has over the years subscribed to my channel gets a notice that there's a new video. Shows how much I use YouTube. But I did use it 3 years ago when I was developing content for a book about how to get started and get started today, to get over those hurdles that hold us back. And the name of that book is It's Still Good, Dreams Don't Have Expiration Dates. I use those little videos as a way to capture little ideas, and they're still posted on there. So if you're curious, you can watch them. If you're even more curious, you can find the book on Amazon. But so some of you have kind of stumbled upon this 5 Great Decision class, but you don't have the supplemental materials that go with it. And that's an email full of content and exercises that I send out on Wednesday morning. So if you'd like the full package, it's free. We're doing this for 6 weeks. I will send you the email that you missed last week. Just jot off an email to me. It's Patrice at patricejenkins.com, and we'll get you signed up. We don't want anyone to miss out on learning more about what 5 Great Decisions can do to actually transform lives. I've been talking a lot about experiencing a spark, this emotional response when something comes up and you have an opportunity to make a great decision. But all of you are early in your practice at this point, so if you haven't felt that, don't worry about it. It's not like you're doing something wrong or that it's just not going to work for you. It's just perhaps that it needs time, or maybe you're not even recognizing something that actually is happening. I'm reminded of when our first child was going off to college and searching for colleges at her junior year of high school. And I was taking her to different campuses. And unfortunately, someone had told her that when you are on the right campus, you'll just know it. You will feel this spark of this is where I belong. Well, after 16 campuses, she still wasn't feeling it. And at that point, I said, Amanda, it's time to narrow our search and decide which colleges that you're going to apply to, rather than continue to be looking around for this one that gives you that spark when you're on the campus. Now, fortunately, she ended up at a great place, and even though perhaps the spark wasn't there, she got a great education and is doing fine. I mention this because if you haven't felt the spark, it's okay. But also, I think you will soon, if you have not already, experience some kind of an emotional response when you have an opportunity to make a great decision, especially if your why is attached to something that really matters to you, maybe a quality about yourself that you would like to either improve upon or expand. If there's some emotional connection to your why, when you have a chance to make a decision that supports that, you will usually feel some emotional response to that moment. This is why I say there's something almost magical about those moments when life presents you with exactly the kind of choice that lets you step into your ideal self. What that feels like for you may be uniquely yours to discover. In our email this week, I introduced the idea of tokens. I'm talking about the idea of spending and investing your decisions as if they were currency. The email goes into more detail about this concept, using your tokens for adventure, as well as I think of them as a superpower, like in my pocket that people don't even know I'm carrying around with me, that can give me courage and confidence in challenging situations. So you're going to read more about that aspect of tokens and have a few questions that you can explore when you stop to think about what is it like to wake up in the morning with 5 tokens in my pocket? Where will I have an opportunity to spend and invest those tokens? But I thought I would tell a story during our live time here of another way to look at those tokens. And it came to me when my husband and I were visiting our son Stephen and his girlfriend Danny in Manhattan. And we took them out to this beautiful French restaurant. It was so much fun. We were seated up on the upper balcony where we could look down, and I really felt like I was in Paris. I was transformed to another place. It was so delightful. We had a wonderful evening, the whole escargot and superb entrees and decadent desserts and better than usual wine. We spent some money, and it was worth every penny. So then a couple days later, I came across a post from a financial advisor from the UK. He is a financial advisor, but he also writes about and speaks about the social and psychological aspect of retirement. And what he says, one of the most challenging things he finds among his clients is how to spend their money. He says they're really good at accumulating it, but when it comes time now to start spending it, they don't know how to do that. And it's really interesting to me, having also worked in that field, the extent to which he has to help his clients spend money. This is a quote from him. He says, "Your money is stored energy. It's potential. It's freedom in disguise. It's the tool that turns time into memories. It's not just there to protect you from bad days. It's there to fuel the good ones." When I read this quote to Stephen, he immediately said, "That's how I think of 5 Great Decisions. It's there to fuel the good days." I needed to sit with Stephen's comment for a while to really fully grasp what he meant, the fuel for the good days. And what it is, it's referring to the ease with which you can make decisions that support your vision for the future. I experienced this just a few days after that. Then Dave and I were driving to Maine, to our little place off on an island off of Portland. And a friend who lives in Boston texted me. She said, "Hey, on your way to Maine, why don't you stop by Boston for lunch?" My immediate thought to that was, it's going to take more time. It's a little out of our way. We're going to hit traffic. We're planning on the 3:00 ferry. We wouldn't make that. We'd have to take a later ferry. There were all these truthful reasons of why we wouldn't stop and impromptu have a lunch. But then I thought, this is an opportunity for a great decision. And the reason that was so clear is because one of my focus for my why is to invest in building stronger and deeper relationships, both with family and friends. That was, like I said, almost magical when a moment presents itself that allowed me to step into a vision of my future self. And just like that, once I framed it in that way, I texted her back and said, "We're coming." And after that, I immediately recorded it in my 5 Great Decision app because it's just so much fun to do that. What happened to all of those excuses, all the resistance about not going? See, that's the thing I love about 5 Great Decisions. It has a way to just bypass that resistance when we can align a choice with what matters to us. When we know what matters, when we know what we're aiming for, when opportunity comes to do that, it's like resistance just fades away. And we did have a great time. Donna knows that I have, in a former life, what feels like a former life, had a children's clothing business where I designed and manufactured a boutique line of children's clothing. So she took me to a woman that she has come to know who has her own line of women's clothing and in her own shop, and had a delightful conversation with this young woman and encouraging her in what she is embarking on. And then we had a leisurely lunch at an outdoor cafe. We were on the road, and we got the 4:15 ferry instead of 3:00 ferry. That was a token used to fuel the good days. And without 5 Great Decisions, I dare say that I would have just stuck with my idea of this was kind of inconvenient, kind of gonna get into traffic, kind of put us off on our ferry schedule. Easier to say no. There to fuel the good days. That was a token well spent. So I have had some questions about what exactly do you mean by great decision? And people tend to think there must be some kind of hierarchy that you do, is this good or is it great, or should I write this one down, or is it just something I should be doing anyway? Or I do this and I'm doing it day after day. Do I only get to record it once? All kinds of really kind of silly questions, because you can do this any way you want. But what I thought I'd do is just quickly run through a list of some decisions that I've recorded, also some decisions that the cohort has shared with me so that I can share them with others. As you'll see, there's big variety. There's big ones, there's small ones. There's ones you probably do and say, that's not a decision, that's just a way of living. But I think what I hope it will do is help you realize that don't deliberate. It's not that hard to make a decision whether you want to record this as a great decision. So, sent a text to Denise inviting her to come to Maine. Stepped on the scale, measure what matters. Listened to my husband, respected what he wanted, and finally changed my behavior. I have to admit, I didn't write that one. Made a birthday poem, card, and a gift for a 70-year-old friend as a surprise. Canceled a service to save money. Practiced gratitude as an antidote to stress. Chose yogurt instead of pancakes for breakfast. Walked 4 miles. Decided not to rally to go out to dinner. Choosing to meet myself where I'm at, exhausted from 3 wonderful days with the kids. Which brings up a good point I'll talk about in future classes, is that just because something is a hard decision doesn't mean it's a great decision. Didn't have a second serving of ice cream. Was patient and kind as I helped Dave pack for a trip. Flossed my teeth. Made an extra trip out to Voodoo Donuts to show my appreciation to 2 young college guys I hired for yard work, even though it wasn't absolutely necessary. I probably wouldn't have done that before practicing 5 great decisions. So notice the variety here. Some decisions take courage, some are small health choices, and some are acts of kindness or connection. But what makes them great isn't their size, it's their alignment with the person's why. So one thing I do before I record a decision, I ask myself, will this matter tomorrow? If I'm investing in positive change, it matters. It matters, and it happens one decision at a time. So that's it for this week. Next week, we're going to delve deeper into the foundation of 5 great decisions by exploring what I call the pause and agency. So thanks for joining me on this journey. Please send emails, questions. I will respond. Together, we'll continue to expand the foundation of 5 great decisions and the impact it can have on people's lives. All right, bye.